today's lecture. So we are gonna move to our second unit, that's atoms, elements, and compounds. Again, this is one of the most important topics in IGCSE chemistry, and it's really important because if your concepts about atoms and elements and compounds, isotopes is not clear, then you can't really grasp the rest of the concepts. So we'll start with this. We'll start with this unit by going over the unit contents. So these are the unit contents which will, and these slides are will be shared with you. So you can just go with unit contents yourself. I'll not be reading them because it's just a waste of time. So these are the unit contents. We'll be going over the definition of atoms, elements, and compounds. We'll also be going over the atomic structure and the periodic table. And in today's session, we'll be discussing isotopes as well, right? Uh, in terms of defining isotopes and what understanding what are isotopes, and also calculating the relative atomic mass of an element from the relative masses and the abundances of its isotopes. TK, so this second unit is a bit long. It consists of the atoms, atomic structure, and isotopes. It also consists of the different types of bonding, chemical bonding, which includes the ionic bonding, covalent bonding, and metallic bonding. So it was getting really long, so I thought that we cover bonding in a separate session. So we'll be doing bonding next week, inshallah. Okay, so let's start with atoms. So what are atoms? Atom is the smallest particle of a chemical element that can exist. Means it is basically a building block of matter, and it is really the smallest unit of matter that can exist. This statement is somewhat controversial because, as I told you earlier, that atom can be further divided into subatomic particles like protons, neutrons, and electrons. And even protons are made up of much smaller particles because scientists in particle accelerator they have uh, discovered new particles which make up these subatomic particles. So this statement is somewhat controversial that atom is the smallest particle of matter that can exist, but to pass your exams and at the level of IGCSE chemistry, you just this definition will do the job. So, for you guys, atom is the smallest particle of a chemical element that can exist. It consists of two parts. So it has a central nucleus and it has a cloud of electrons, right? So right here, this blue picture, which you can see, this is an actual picture. This is actually the first ever picture of a hydrogen atom, which has been visualized using very sophisticated imaging techniques and very sophisticated microscopes. So this is an actual hydrogen atom, which was visualized using a special type of microscope known as a scanning tunneling microscope. And as you can see, the central mass right here, the mass that is reddish to orange color. This is a nucleus, and it is surrounded by a very dense light blue cloud of electrons. So uh, this central entity of an atom is known as a nucleus, which is made up of two types of particles. These are the protons, neutrons. Protons are positively charged, neutrons are neutral charged, they don't have any charge. And this nucleus is orbited by electrons. So, as we talked about earlier, so there are like the atom consists of subatomic particles like protons, neutrons, which make up the nucleus, and we have electrons which are orbiting the nucleus. So you need to know what is the relative mass and what is the charge that each of these subatomic particles carry. So the relative mass of a proton is 1, okay? The relative mass of neutron is also 1, and the relative mass of electron is 1 by 1840. Acha, so I need to confirm. Okay, पता है A levels में we are taught कि it's not like 1 over 1840, it's 1 over 1836. Rafi, do you have any idea कि is this number correct? कि जहाँ लिखा है 1 over 1840. Because you've already gone over the IGCSE chemistry syllabus. So do you have any idea?
नहीं, मेनली तो जो आईजीसीएसई में ना वो यही है कि 1/1840 है वो। हाँ, लेकिन हमने 1/8040 में नहीं पढ़ा था, हम लोगों ने उसके कुछ पावर में पढ़ा था, 1 to the power of पता नहीं क्या, वो मैं
हाँ
भूल गया।
हाँ, वो भी
लेकिन
मैं
वो,
बताऊंगा, दैट इज द एवोगैड्रोस नंबर। आई थिंक उसकी बात कर रहे हैं।
जी जी, लेकिन ये 1/1840 ही था।
ठीक है, सही है, परफेक्ट। सो सो प्रोटॉन की जो मास होती है इट्स वन। ठीक है, न्यूट्रॉन की भी वन होती है, बट इलेक्ट्रॉन की मास इज 1/1840th द मास ऑफ अ न्यूट्रॉन। ठीक है, यानी कि व्हाट डज दिस मीन? इट मीन्स कि you'll जब if you have a box, ठीक है, full of like 1840 electrons. If you fill 1840 electrons in a box, so that box will weigh equal to one proton, or it will weigh equal to one neutron. Okay, so you need to combine the mass of 1840 electrons to achieve the mass of proton. That's how tiny, and that's how lightweight an electron is. Electrons are negatively charged as opposed to protons, which are positively charged. So electrons are basically orbiting the nucleus. Nucleus is positively charged, right? Okay, neutrons के ऊपर तो कोई charge नहीं है. So protons are positively charged, and that makes the nucleus positively charged overall. So that's why electrons are orbiting the nucleus, right? But the atom, the overall atom is neutral because there is a balance between protons and electrons, right? The number of protons and electrons in a neutral atom are equal. So the charges just cancel out. So for example, if you consider carbon, which has an atomic number of 6, that means it has 6 protons, and it will have 6 electrons as well. So the charges will cancel each other out, and the carbon atom overall is neutral, right? So in the nucleus, there are neutrons and protons, and neutrons basically uh, hold the nucleus together. They're responsible for holding the nucleus together, right? So this is a structure of an atom, pretty trivial by now. ठीक है, अब तक तो सबको पता चल गया होगा. So this is a diagram of an atomic structure of helium. As you can see, that contains uh, helium has a mass of 4. So this is the helium-4 isotope. So it has a mass of 4. So basically, it has 2 neutrons and 2 protons. So 2 plus 2 makes 4. Okay, atomic mass of it is the sum of protons and neutrons. We'll be going over this in much more detail in the upcoming slides. Uh, the proton number of helium is 2, so you can see that it has 2 protons. And to cancel out the 2 positive charges of the protons, we have 2 complementary electrons as well. Okay, so now let's go over the general organization of the periodic table. Although periodic table is a separate topic, but but we will be covering this, but we will be just going over the basics of the periodic table, okay, the basic structure.